Hello YouTube, Dave here again, and today I have for you a showcase of some of the newest products to come out from the good folks over at Paizo Publishing for both the Pathfinder and Starfinder role-playing game. This is to give you an idea of some of the things that are out there now. I will be trying to get reviews of most of these things out in the next couple of weeks next couple of weeks to a month. But yeah, I'm really excited for some of the things that are in here. There's some really, really cool stuff. Before I begin, all of these items were sent to me by Paizo for the purposes of doing, videos, raising awareness, promoting them, reviewing them, things along those lines. So I really want to thank them for continuing to support my channel. But as always with, any company that sends me things, they're not scripting my videos, they're not previewing them to make sure it meets with their standards or anything like that. They're not demanding positive reviews. The opinions that I express in these videos are 100% completely and totally my own. But it does mean a lot to me that they do send these things to me. I'm going to try to get as many of them done in as timely a manner as possible here. So some other things are going to have to be put on hold for the next couple of weeks while I sort of make my way through some of these here. Like I said, there's some really cool stuff here. And the first thing I'm going to show is the first thing that I plan on making a video for, in the next few days. And that is the Pathfinder deck of endless NPCs. So a while back, I did the deck of like Infinite Worlds or whatever it was for the Starfinder role-playing game, and this is a product that actually appears to be very, very similar, where you've got double-sided cards. One side will have an NPC on there, and then you will use other cards placed in different orders sort of generate their personalities, motivations, alignments, and stuff like that. So this is something I think is going to be really, really cool to use. And from the looks of it, it does appear like this is sort of edition neutral. Like it doesn't have second edition on it, doesn't say first edition. It's just for the Pathfinder role-playing game. And these are, again, sort of like the personality and, sort of the role that the NPC might play in a settlement or in a campaign. So yeah, this is looking really, really, really cool here. Retail price on this is $24.99. See if I can get it to focus there. There we go. But yeah, this looks really, really cool. I cannot wait to dive into this and make a couple of NPCs using the deck. Really look forward to that. Also, along with the decks of cards, we also have the Alchemy deck here. So this is sort of an equipment deck for 2nd edition Pathfinder, and this is essentially the alchemical items from the core rulebook and the advanced player's guide. So it includes like your bombs, mutagens, elixirs, poisons, all kinds of different things. It's got artwork on the outside, which is really, really cool, and then you've got the description of what the item is. This is something I think is going to come in really, really handy, because I've had a few players in 2nd edition Pathfinder games play alchemists, and there was always a little bit of difficulty finding their formulas or the things that they can create. So I think this deck is going to be really, really a great addition to your collection, especially if you want to play as an alchemist. But yeah, really look forward to this one as well. And even though I don't actually have these laid out in the order I plan on doing videos on them, this will probably be the second thing that I do a video on, because I love these accessories, these card accessories that Paizo has put out, so I want to dive into those as quickly as possible. Speaking of accessories I absolutely love, we have up next the Pathfinder Flip Tiles Campsite set. So this one here, again, I think this is going to be a really cool product, because it's just a whole bunch of like different campsites in different environments. You've got forest clearings, swampy isles, hilltops and lodges, deserts or tundra, dungeons and caves, and urban camps. So I've done several campaigns over the years where at one point or another something happens while the players are camped, regardless of what kind of environment that they're in. And I think it's just going to be useful to have these when I'm running my games. And again, with these flip tiles, you can use them for really any type of role-playing game. It doesn't specifically have to be just the Pathfinder RPG. So these things are useful beyond just the game that they are branded as. These are just awesome products to have overall, and I'm looking forward to flipping through these as well. So that video should be coming out again, hopefully within the next week or so. All right, so to go along with the theme of, flip tiles or maps and accessories, we've got the Pathfinder Flipmat Enormous Dungeon. So this is an oversized or a larger sized Pathfinder Flipmat. It is 36 inches by 46 inches, whereas most regular maps are 24 by 30. So these ones are, your larger maps. They do cost a little bit more at $26.99 US. But yeah, you get a large dungeon complex here. I'm just going to show off the two different sides here. I currently do not have the table space to open these up and unfold them, so I just like to zoom in on the back, on the artwork on the back here, because this gives you the entire layout of each side, like nothing is hidden. It's the full artwork for both sides of the map, so you can sort of see what you've got there. And I love that you've got like the lava sort of going in the dungeon here, and then I assume this is probably like the lower level here, and you can actually see there's like a fissure with lava sort of flowing through it there. So awesome stuff. I love these flip mats. They are like, so they're some of my favorite accessories, and especially like the dungeon ones. I've actually bought several dungeon themed flip mats specifically for the purposes of just improvising a D&D session or doing something sort of homebrew and having the map ready to go. So of like the different flip mats that are out here, these ones are probably amongst my favorite and most well used, but really, really cool stuff here. Again, the enormous dungeon, a much larger flip mat than you would normally have. Speaking of flip mats, we've got another one here. This is a regular sized flip mat, so this is the 24 inch by 30 inch. It is $16.99 US, but this is a flip mat for the Shadows at Sundown adventure, a standalone adventure for Pathfinder 2nd edition, which I also happen to have right here. Now, the Pathfinder standalone adventures that Paizo's been putting out have been absolutely fantastic. Like, every single one has been really enjoyable, and that's not to say anything negative about their campaign paths, because they are high quality as well. But I really do feel that the creative gloves kind of come off when it comes to the standalone adventures, and they do get a little more adventurous with their topics and with what they sort of do and how they go about designing and the themes behind some of these. So Shadows at Sundown, I was just sort of flipping through it here, and it is a campaign that is sort of takes place after the Curse of the Crimson Throne adventure path. The adventure path itself is not entirely important to the adventure here, but if your group has gone through that, it takes place in the same region and involves events, sort of the fallout from some of those events there. So it's really, really cool to see them revisit some of these locations and to sort of advance the timeline as far as, the world of Galarian. And the fact that the adventure paths that they've released, they're canon, they're things that have happened. So it's kind of cool to see the way that they handle that with some of these updated products here. But yeah, this one is really, really cool. I'm not going to get too much into it here, but there is an investigation system that takes place early on in the game. And one of the things that I love about the way that they've handled this, and again, with some of these standalones, they do these kinds of things where they introduce these sort of cool concepts here. This goes along with sort of like the victory point system that they had in the Game Mastery Guide. But this one is essentially like awareness points. And the more that the players sort of pry and investigate, and the more that they sort of kind of throw their, I'm not going to say weight around, but they do things to really make their presence known, it raises their awareness score, which can lead to some helpful NPCs reaching out, but it can also lead to some bad things happening as, these other groups discover that the characters are starting to learn just a little bit too much and sort of move to deal with them there. So again, just really, really cool stuff. This is something, again, with the standalones, I really want to try to get the opportunity to run these because I think that they are awesome. And this one looks like it's going to be a very, very well done adventure path as well. So really looking forward to that. All right, up next, speaking of adventure paths, we have Parts 2 out of 3 and 3 out of 3 for the Pathfinder Outlaws at Elkin Adventure Path. We got the Cradle of Quartz. I wanted to say Cradle of Filth because that's my favorite band, but Cradle of Quartz and the Smoking Gun. So this is an adventure path that really takes advantage of the Guns and Gears book, especially like the gunslinger options. So this is something that, again, I will definitely be doing a review of not only the Gunslinger class from Pathfinder 2nd Edition, but the guns deck and ultimately this adventure path. It's just something that just didn't seem like good timing to be talking about products that sort of center around firearms and stuff like that. So this one I will probably give a little bit more time before I get into these, but they are out now. And if you are someone who was really a big fan of the Gunslinger class, or you have groups that, you know, have a gunslinger or have characters from the Guns and Gears book, and you really want to give them a adventure path or some, you know, stories that are sort of centered around their abilities or that cater to their abilities, then Outlaws of Alkenstar Adventure Path is definitely something that you should check out. Like I said, I will be doing a review of this as well as the Gunslinger and the Guns deck, but that's just going to be a little bit further into the future. All right, and finally, for the Pathfinder 2nd Edition line, we have the Lost Omens Knights of Last Wall. This is one of the sort of world-building books, so you got like the blue spine there for the Lost Omens product line. And the Lost Omens books have all been really, really fantastic. Like I said, they're sort of a world-building thing. We had the Pathfinder Society one already, which was sort of narrowly focused on that one faction operating within Galarian. And so here we have the organization, the Knights of Last Wall, which will be, you know, which will give you character options as well as some background information and just some really cool stuff to know about here. But again, we're going to hold off on the review for this. I'm not going to get too deep into it because I actually haven't had a chance to look at it yet. I just got these a few hours before I am recording this, but I am looking forward to diving into this one as well because I'm a sucker for like knights and, you know, knightly organizations. So this is one that I'm really looking forward to. So switching gears, we are now going to take a look at some new products for the Starfinder role-playing game. So the first thing that we got here are a couple of accessories. The first one is actually going to be the Spell Cards Supplemental. So a little while ago, I did a video showing the Starfinder spell cards, and those were all of the spells from the core rulebook. So this one, I believe, is, let's just see here. So just like the Galaxy, the magic of Starfinder is infinite. Starfinder Spell Card Supplement is a must-have accessory for those spellcasting science fantasy heroes whose knowledge has no bounds. More than 200 reference cards covering a multitude of unique spells found in hardcovers and Adventure Path volume. Oh, right, Pathfinder, the Adventure Paths, right. So I think the original spell cards was actually the core rulebook and the character operations manual. So this is sort of all of the extra spells that have appeared in other various supplements, including like the Adventure Path stuff. So that's really, really cool. And I love the fact that they are all gathered into one location. And so if you don't have all of the Adventure Paths or all of the other hardcover books that have some spells sort of scattered throughout, you can get this product and it should have everything here. I don't think any of those spells were super complex. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that should warrant like having not being able to print them all on the cards itself, but we'll see sort of what we have when I do the review video on this. But yeah, really, really cool. I love the Paizo spell cards. They're fantastic, and I don't think this is going to be any exception. Speaking of cards, we got a hefty set here. So this is the Alien Archive 3 and 4 battle cards. So a little while ago again, I did a video showing the Alien Archive 1 and 2. The Alien Archive, sort of unlike the Bestiaries for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, the Alien Archive books are a little bit thinner than what you'd have for the Pathfinder role-playing game. So it makes more sense for them to bundle, a couple of these Alien Archive books together for these types of products. So the first one, like I said, was 1 and 2, and this is going to be all of the creatures from the Alien Archive 3 and 4. So this, again, will be something I will be doing a video for in the very, very near future. But yeah, these cards are just awesome. I've done several of the battle cards already for Paizo, between like the Pathfinder 2nd edition stuff and the Starfinder Alien Archive 1 and 2. So, definitely check out those videos. And I'm just going to say here in this one, spoiler, this is going to be an awesome product, and one that I definitely do recommend. I also do believe that they are going to be releasing at least the first Alien Archive in a pocket edition. So I don't know exactly when that's coming out. Those aren't the pocket editions aren't automatically sent to me, but I do plan on absolutely getting it when it comes out. So when that happens, I'll let you know. But these battle cards, especially if you are, if you're running in public, these battle cards are so great because in a lot of cases, they mean that you don't have to take the larger, heavier books with you. So it minimizes the amount of weight stuff that you're carrying. So yeah, this is something I think is going to be absolutely fantastic. And yeah, definitely, again, if you're in Starfinder, I'm just going to say right now, during this sort of little preview video, that it's going to be worth picking up, and I think that you should. So there's that. All right, so for Starfinder, we got a couple of adventures here. The first one is Horizons of the Vast. This is part 6 of 6, The Culling Shadow. So Horizons of the Vast was the adventure path that sort of took advantage of the galaxy, like the exploration manual. So sort of giving you some new, unexplored, or sort of more remote locations to sort of create your own worlds and stuff like that. And so yeah, this is one that I'm again looking forward to. Now that I have all 6 parts, I'm going to go through them and, like I said, do a review video for the adventure path as a whole. That should be out in the next few weeks. Now, along with that, we have the Drift Crashers adventure path. This is part 1 of 3, and it is entitled The Perfect Storm. So the Drift Crashers is an adventure path that sort of follows this huge, galaxy-spanning event in Starfinder referred to as the Drift Crisis, which brings us to our final 2 products for today's video, and that is the Drift Crisis hardcover, as well as a Drift Crisis flip mat here. So the flip mat just gives you a couple of locations. One of them is actually a hexed off map that you can use for ships traveling within the drift, and then you've got just another one that you can use for other purposes. The drift is kind of like the subspace in the Starfinder world. So when ships travel vast distances, they don't do it through conventional means. They basically displace themselves from the material plane into a plane known as the drift. And the drift is sort of this nebulous thing that exists outside of the normal planar cosmology. And it's a way of, like, you have these beacons that you can sort of hone in on, and it's been a relatively stable way of traveling for a few hundred years now at this point. But the Drift Crisis basically has the drift just no longer functioning the way that it's supposed to. It just basically almost, I'm not going to say it obliterates, but it ships that were in during this event that occurred, a lot of them were just ejected from the drift, and they could appear in any plane of existence, not necessarily put back into their own native plane. Traveling through the drift is more it's easier to travel long distances, but the nature of the drift is kind of this amorphous thing. So even if you are traveling between 2 set points and there's drift beacons that you can hone in on and use that to sort of guide you through the drift, there's always a little bit of variation in the amount of time it takes to travel through it. But yeah, the drift itself is now no longer functioning properly. Ships are, just being forced out. And this book is sort of designed to give you some adventure ideas as to how to deal with this like cataclysmic event. And I've only looked through a very little of the book so far, but from what I've seen, I think this is going to be my favorite Starfinder book that's been put out for the product line, and there's been a lot of good books for it, but yeah, this one I'm really looking forward to. So I'm not going to say too much more about it here, but we've got the flip mat that you can use to go along with it, and the book itself. So yeah, really, really awesome stuff. So there we go. Let me know in the comments below, what are some of the things from this video that you find the most interesting, and what things do you want me to... So I'm going to be looking at some of the accessories first because they're a bit easier to do, but of the adventures of the hardcover books, let me know which one you'd like me to cover first, and I will be sure to get on that. Anyway, once again, thank you to the good folks at Paizo for sending this amazing stuff out to me. I can't wait to dive into it. And for everyone watching this video, as always, I do truly appreciate, anyone taking even a minute out of their day to watch these videos. It really does mean a lot to me. Until next time, I hope everyone has a great day, evening, morning, week, month, year, everything. I hope things are going well for you. And I will see you all next time. Take care.